Welcome to this look at the new Grimme Pack third-party DLC with me, MrSealyp. Well, it's here, the Grimme third-party DLC. This has been brought to us through Giants from Team FSI Modding and FS19. They're very clear on there that this is a third-party DLC, and this is potato harvesting. I don't know if I want to get into the ins and outs of. I'm going to go through the pack. I'm going to show you everything that's in it. Let you make your mind up. I think a lot of people were hoping this was going to have some larger capacity machinery, not necessarily bigger machinery, but maybe some larger capacity stuff, that kind of thing. Because I've said before, potato harvesting can be a bit of a chore, can take a long time for planting and then a long time for harvesting. Yields are very high. And as a YouTuber making videos, I'll use this stuff in a Let's Play because at the end of the day, it's new stuff, and there's some really cool things in here. Don't get me wrong, FS19, Team FSI Modding have done a brilliant job. The detail on all of the mods, and these are the weeders, we're going to get onto all of it in a minute, is absolutely fantastic. Now, the thing about this being, a lot of people have been arguing that their companies don't make bigger potato equipment, they don't make, 8-row planters or harvesters. Or the thing is, there's a company in Blackfoot, Idaho called Spudnik, and Spudnik do make larger machinery. They do make a 6 or an 8-row harvester and planters. Now Grimme, they joined the Grimme group in 2003, I think Spudnik did, so potentially we could have got some different or larger stuff, I think. But like I say, either way, we'll have a look and we'll see what we've got. So starting off, we have got the weeders. We have 3 of them. We've got the GH2, which is a smaller one there, the GH4, and we've got the GH8. 9 slots, 10 slots, and 10 slots on console. Now, I don't do weeding normally, I don't put weeds on, but I did on here to test it. Put weeds on, got into the first growth stage, I've got no weeds at all. This is why the weed thing drives me insane. I put weeds on, wanted weeds, didn't get any, but we have got first growth, and I'll show you the weeders being used anyway. But so these you'll find under tools and weeders. The GH2 is 7,000, the GH4 is 12,000, and the GH8 is 19,000. We've got a 1.5 metre, a 2.5 metre and a 6 metre weeder. They all run at 9 miles per hour, 54 horsepower required, 74 horsepower required, or 140 horsepower required to pull them. So, options available. On the first 2 we can have standard or with a roller, like so. And then the third one, GH8, there are no options, you just get it as it is, like so. Now, they're a mechanical weeder, it goes along and between the rows it will pull the weeds out. I'll show you it opening and closing and kind of thing. Obviously, like I say, for some reason I have no idea why no weeds appeared, but I skipped time ahead. I was desperate to get some weeds, now I'm worried that they're going to be too big. We'll give it a go. So, open the help menu. It says folding ridging hiller. Now, fold ridge hiller. So this will actually give you the ridges and build them back up again if there's any problem with it. Now, what should happen? Drop this down. Please remove the weeds. There we go. Our weeds are being removed. The tines go between. The ridge hillers keep the ridges how they should be, in theory. I mean, obviously you can go across at different angles, but as you can see, nicely detailed, bobbing up and down, weeds are being removed, and as you can see, I've now got weeds across absolutely everything. So next up, after this, will be seeders. Strange thing with the weeding, the weeds grew, did some weeding, they've now grown properly. The bit that was ready to be seeded stayed the same. The bit that had been topped, I got a load of weeds. The bit that was ready to be topped, I got a load of weeds, but I came over with a herbicide sprayer. When they were ready to be topped, ready to be harvested, it killed the weeds. The bit where they'd been topped, weeds didn't go at all. Peculiar, but I just thought I'd point that out. So next up, after the weeders, we have got our seeders or sowers. We have got the GL32E, which is this one here, which is 8 slots, and we've got the GE32F, which is 15 slots. This one has a fertilizer tank, so you can either seed with just the seed or with fertilizer. Now with potato sowers, you can either put seed in them, and when you put seed in them, it comes in and looks like potatoes, or you can put potatoes in. So if you're doing a lot of potato harvesting over a period of time, rather than keep buying seeds, you can just put potatoes from the previous crop in instead. Or if you've got a cheaper source of potatoes and it's cheaper than buying seed, then you can do that also. Again, very nicely detailed. These are both 1.5 metre. They're only 2-row planters. They're going to take a little while. This one has a planter section on the back already, which does the ridges. That one, it will still do it. In game, it will still show the same thing. It's just a slightly different option in the menu. So these you will find under Tools and under Potato Technology. So the GL32E is 10,800 to buy, requires 60 horsepower, 1.5 metres wide, will run at 6 miles an hour. And then we've got the GL32F, also 60 horsepower, 1.5 metre wide, 6 miles per hour. Difference being this will take fertiliser as well. This does also have the option, as I said, you've got standard configuration, or you can have it like that with the planter section on the back, which kind of smooths out the ridges and makes sure that everything's covered as it should be. It's only got an 800 litre tank for the fertiliser, I think it is. But we are going to hook up, put some in. Now, again, this is that situation where it's new equipment, but has it kind of gone backwards? We're adding new stuff in, but we've already got 2 sowers that are wider than this. I think that we've got a 6 metre one. It's going to be more if you're going to be looking at doing small plots. Now this one you don't even have to turn it on according to this, it's just going. See potatoes going round on those little belts out of the hopper, down to the bottom, planted, and then the rear sections give you 2 rows. So I'll drop that down. Leave it there. We'll go and get the other one, which will fertilise at the same time because it's got the fertiliser box. It does the same thing, just with a bit of fertiliser added in. All very handy indeed. Ah, okay. So what says 800 fertiliser is actually 800 split between the two. 300 fertiliser and 500 potatoes. Again, it's another reason why you're going to be replenishing these fairly often. But nice animations, everything moving as it should do. But do you have to have that planter section on the back? The answer to that is no, you don't need to have it on the back, because as you can see, that one there, which has just got those sections, it gives you exactly the same look. It's gonna, you know, it'll end up looking exactly the same in game. In the real world, it makes a difference, but you know, it's just an addition to have on there to add a bit more realism to it. So that's the 2 sowers, the GL32E and F. Next up, we've got harvesters. So with the harvesters, we have got the WH200 Eco, which is, I think, the smaller of the 2. Yep, which is that one. And then we've got the WH200S. Now the difference between the 2 is this will, I mean, that will put the potatoes out the back and kind of swaths them. This one has got a swather that you can choose in the options to swath left or right if you want to. So rather than come out the just out the front here and drop on the floor, or the back, sorry, it will swath them. So that's the 2 differences. That, and then the third one is the larger one. Where have I put that? The third one It's just a bigger machine for all intents and purposes, but the difference with this one you don't need to top first. So these two, you need to go over the Holm topper, which takes all the leaves and all the stuff off the top, and it will leave them, well, without the weeds, looking like this. So you need to top first. The third one, which is the WR200CDW, that will do it from this state. So it will actually harvest, it will top, and it will take out the ground. That's the difference between the three. Again, these two are the same width. That one just has the swather. I'm pretty sure the third one's the same width. I think they all are, actually. Slot count on console. We're looking at 13, 13, and the larger one is 16. Again, the detail on them is brilliant. They look fantastic bits of kit. Oh, the CDV. That says CDW in the... Am I losing my mind? Probably losing my mind. Anywho, let's see these in operation after we checked them out in here. So, in the store. Yeah, it says CDW there. I thought I was going mad. That says CDW on the side of the machine. It says CDV. Never mind. So, we've got the WH200 Eco, 11,900 and, like I said, 13 slots. 68 horsepower required, 1.5 metre width, runs at 4 miles per hour, but you need to do the topping first. Then you've got the WH200S, 72 horsepower required, again 1.5 metre, runs at 4 miles an hour, fairly slow. This one does have the option though, like I said, you can have left swath, zoom out a bit, or right swath dropping. There's not an option to have it just coming straight out the back, that's what the first one's for. So left or right swath dropping on that one. And then the WR200CDW, 150 horsepower required, 1.5 metre width. This one runs at 9 miles per hour, so over twice the speed of the other two. And you don't need to use the Holm cutter, Holm topper first, so that will kind of, it is a harvester, but rather than collect it, it drops it back on the floor. Again, are we going backwards? We've got harvesters that do harvest and collect already. It's not, again, it's not a case of going backwards, it's just a case of different machinery, new machinery. I think, you know, I was very kind of critical when I first saw the list, thinking this really isn't a step forward. And it's the same with any mods. Whenever I do the mod reviews, I've always said it's all about different options, all about more options, more machinery, different ways of doing things. I think that's the point. So with this already being topped with a Holm topper, we turn it on, we drop it down, so it's already been topped. What it will do now is take the potatoes out of the ground and leave a swath of potatoes behind as we go. Again, nice animation, doing what it should be. All the earth and potatoes are coming up, the earth drops through the grill underneath, the potatoes come out the back, and we have our swath. Lovely. Turn it off. Oops. The second one does the same thing, but it will swath to the left or right. I can't remember which one I went for now. Thing, turn it on, drop it down, and that just swaths out to the side instead. I mean, realistically, you're still getting the swath coming out. And when I do the next row along, I suppose because I'm coming back the other way, it will leave the swaths wider apart if you do it this way rather than closer together in the middle. And then the last one, I don't need to top, it will do all of it in one go. It will all come out very neatly at the back. But like I said, they are all the same width, so the difference is just how it goes about it. This one does run faster, but it is more expensive. You don't need to top, so I guess you haven't got to have a topper to do it first. So we start it up, drop it down, and this one will do the crop and then leave the swath. As you can see, going much faster than the other ones do. Very nice indeed. So that's the harvesters. Now the next one is kind of under the harvester section, weirdly, but it's actually a collector because it doesn't harvest itself. Now it looks very much like the one we've got already. We have got the keelers as well. It's keelers, isn't it? And it's this. This is the SE8555. This is 14 slots. Swing it round. Now it does say it's under harvesters, but this doesn't harvest. This is just a collector. So when you've used the other bits of machinery and you've dropped these on the floor, this will come along and pick them up. Now there are machines that just do that and swath at the same time, but this isn't doing that. This is picking them up and collecting them, and it does have a collecting tank. Only downside, the tank's fairly small. It does have a cover there, so if you've got actual workers up on there that are sorting out the bad potatoes, anything that's damaged, bruised, split, that kind of thing, they're protected from the elements, which is very nice. Of course it is. When it runs, the belts will do their thing and move around, and it looks very nice indeed. So, the SE8555, also under potato technology. And like I say, the standard in-game harvester looks very much like this already. The roper keeler, that was it. Similar sort of thing, but these actually do the harvesting. This one, the capacity is a little bit smaller, 6,800 litres before it needs to be emptied. And it does say this pooled single row harvester, which I'm surprised, collects the potatoes previously harvested from the earth. So I guess it's still harvesting them, sort of. Options, standard like that, or with the cover. If you want to have the cover for 1,200, you absolutely can. 90 horsepower required, runs at 6 miles per hour, and it's only a 0.9 metre collection point. So we'll only do one row at a time. If I unfold it, opens it up, swings out to the side, turn it on, drop it down. Belts are all moving. We line up on our previously left behind harvested swath. And away we go. Like I say, belts in there are all doing their thing. Potatoes are moving around. Here they come. And up into the tank. So I say the tank capacity is not huge. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But once you've done your harvesting and you've got a full tank, you have to put the pipe out to unload into a trailer or whatever it is you want to do. When you do that, the cover gets automatically removed. So, pipe out. Whole thing lifts up. Ready to go. I don't think we can adjust that pipe at all though. No, it's just pipe in, pipe out. So that's ready to unload. That will need something to come up alongside and unload from. So that is, like I say, it is in essence just a collector. That's what it does. It will pick it up off the floor, store it, then it will need to go into a trailer. Now you can hire a worker, I suppose, and that will run up alongside and you can come along with the trailer and unload as you go. I'm assuming using these it will go up and down and collect the swaths of potatoes on a hired worker. I mean, honestly, I haven't done an entire field yet. I would like to think it would do that. It'd become very, very labour intensive if it doesn't, in all honesty. Anyway, so that's the fourth potato harvester slash collector. What we move on to now is the belt systems we're going to have a look at that come in this pack. Now, we've got 3 belt systems. We've got the GBF, which is this one here. This is a palletizer. So, like the palletizer we've already got in game, it's a slightly different design. What we do with this one is we enter the vehicle, enable pallet creation, so we can have it on or off. Don't have to. You can have it, I think, just going out onto other conveyors if you want to. But if we unfold the belts, one goes up, one goes up. Now I can come out of there, and if I load stuff on, they will go to the end of those belts. And if I've got other conveyor belts. I can have this as a main point, and I can have belts going all over the place if I wanted to, and I can have more of these palleting machines at the end of those belts. It will just run as a conveyor system, like a T-piece on a conveyor system. If I go back into there, enable pallet creation, that will create pallets once I load into it. So that's the GBF. That's 7 slots, but it needs something to feed it. Now, we do have other belts in game. There are various different pickup belts and things that should work, but we have got some belts that come with this. We've got the loading hopper here. Now, this is a lizard loading hopper. This is not a Grimme one. And this is the lizard conveyor loader, which is 6 slots. We're going to have a look at these in a minute. Now, the downside with both of these pieces of machinery is they have to be moved manually. Now, that one I did try on a trailer, and it will strap down. So you can put it onto a trailer, you can strap it down, which is fine. You're going to need pallet forks or equivalent to pick them up, put them on a trailer, or bring them with pallet forks. If you want to bring with pallet forks, you absolutely can. But they need to be transported to whatever location you're going to be doing it in. Second downside with that is the actual points there where the pallet forks go in are wider than the standard pallet forks you get. So unless you've got a set of the pallet forks that you can actually widen and close the width yourself, they don't fit, which is peculiar. For a standard set of pallet forks anyway. There might be other ones that will actually work, but for doing that I just went underneath the whole piece of kit. It just worked out a little bit easier. Underneath the whole thing, lift it up, tilt it back, and then you can drop it into place wherever you need it to be. Just give it a bit of a shove forward, make sure it's right there. And there we go. So that's in place. The third one is this crazy looking piece of kit. This is the Grimme PS511. This is a guided conveyor belt you actually get onto. This is 11 slots. It's a crazy looking thing, but it is pretty awesome, I'll be honest, as conveyor belts go. Now, as far as I know, I'm going to double check. We get onto it, like so. We start it up. We do have lights. We do have beacons. It is drivable. Now the other ones, other belt systems you can get into and you can drive them. That's always been a little bit unrealistic because you wouldn't be able to get into a standard set of belts, but this one is designed specifically to be able to do this. Now what you can do as well is we can extend the belt out to that long, and we can also raise the belt up like so. So R1 and right stick side to side will raise and lower the belt. L1 and right stick up and down will bring it in or out again, like so. So in a combination of these, we can use them all to either make pallets of potatoes or load up onto another conveyor belt into trailers, that kind of thing. And we're going to have a look at doing that in just a second. But this you'll find under tools and belt systems. Now let's say we have already got the Grimme RH2460, which has got a 13,000 litre capacity, and you can put your stuff into that and that will automatically make pallets of potatoes. This one here, the GBF, is the palletizer, and it will do 1,750 litre pallets. Then the conveyor loader, which is the lizard one, is 1,500. That's 6,500. 1,500. Now that does say 3 miles an hour, but I'm pretty sure, unless I'm losing my mind, that'll do potatoes. Now this one is interesting that the PS511 goes at 9 miles an hour, so it's a bit faster than the sort of belts normally go. It doesn't say that it will do any other crop types. If it does, that makes that incredibly useful. It doesn't specifically say potatoes there either. I'm going to have to test that. But options available. None on the GBF. On the conveyor loader, we can have belt black or belt yellow. And on the PS511, no options available. What I'm going to do, can I actually get into that? Oh, that's put me in that again. It's weird that that has a miles per hour. I don't know, that's put me back in that. I'm puzzled by that. That's just the belt speed, maybe? Don't know. Anyway, so what we're going to do is hopefully, he says, let's try and line this up if we can with the Blue Peter pile of potatoes. Here's one that I already prepared. I think this. So what should happen now is when I turn this belt system on, turn on belt, it should pick up the potatoes from the pile. They will run up here, into this, into that. Pallet drops out, fills up. Now rather than the old one that used to go one side only, when that's full, it should do another pallet out the other side if I run out of potatoes. There you go, puts the pallet out the other side and starts filling the other side. Like so. So you can palletise your potatoes if you want to. I have always found on PS4 that when you've got a lot of them in one place it can get a bit laggy. PS5 isn't as bad. So with that combination we can either palletise or use that as a belt system to go into another belt system if you want to. I think what I'm going to do very quickly, I'm going to get something else on the ground and see if it will pick something else up off the floor other than just potatoes. Just bear with me a second. So in answer to that question, I just grabbed a pile of wheat, got a load of wheat, put it in a pile. It picked it up. So this will pick other things up off the ground, not just potatoes. That makes that incredibly useful. And it looks good as well. I mean, let's be honest, it looks really cool. So it will do other things. Can I do unload here? I can. There we go. Turn that off. Beacon off. Now, as far as the pallets go, I know the first thing that I thought of in my head was, will it work with the CSZ pack big bag lifter? It'll work with pallet forks, of course it will, that's the whole point. But I was curious, because some pallets do, some pallets don't. I just find for doing things like this it makes life so much quicker and easier. Will it work with this? So what we'll do, just get over there a second, clip that, pull it out. I think it's going to be absolutely fine. Yep. So you can remove your pallets, store them away, stack them up, do whatever you want to do with them. Nice and neatly. Again, you can use any kind of pallet forks and various different options, but I just find the big bag handler from the CSZ pack by DD Mod Passion to be incredibly useful, and it will pick up those pallets very nicely. So that's the belt systems. Now this one here doesn't have to be loaded from a belt. You can use a bucket. So if you've got a vehicle with a bucket, a front loader, whatever it might be, you can tip into this with a bucket if you want to. Doesn't have to be done from a belt, can be done from a bucket. So you can have that operation just like that. Or if you take this whole thing away, you can tip into that as an easier load in trough and then have belts off behind it if you want to. So you can do combinations of all sorts with regard to that. Which brings me on to the actual trailers. What do we load these things into if we want to? So we have got the MultiTrailer 190 and we've got the MultiTrailer 350. Again, very nicely detailed. What I like about these is you've got a conveyor belt system on the back as well. So if you're collecting off the field and you want to palletise, again, because that's got a belt, you can bring that back it up over that, unload from a belt to a belt and then palletise. If you want to go down that route, you can go down that route. But they are very, very nice trailers. Now, with or without cover, these side sections here fold down. So when you're in the field and you're unloading for, say, something like the collector, it will reach in, no problem at all. Now these can be used as regular trailers. They will work perfectly well. The 190, well, actually they're both 11 slots. The 190 and the 350 are 11 slots to buy. You'll find these under tools and trailers. So the MultiTrailer 190 is 32,600 with a 19,000 litre capacity. And like I say, it does take everything. It doesn't just have to be potatoes. And then the MultiTrailer 350 does 35,000 litres. Again, takes everything. That's 40,500 to buy. Options available. We've got the option on the 190 of Trelleborg, Michelin or Lizard, all standard tyres. I say standard in such as you can't change them. The Trelleborgs are wides, but you can't change them. The Michelins are wides, can't change them, and the Lizard's standard. Then you can have it in Grimme red or white, and then cover, yes or no. The cover's red and white on both. The difference between this one and this one is on this one we have got the option Trelleborg and Michelin, but no Lizard, and we can actually change from a standard tyre to a wider tyre on each of those rather than it being set for you. But again, Grimme red or white, cover yes or no. Those are our options. So what I was going to do was start that up, open cover, and then just open my menu, open sidewalls, L1 and X, puts those sidewalls down so that when you come up alongside something like the collector, or if you're using conveyor belts it will work. Now as you can see, that collector's high enough that if I close the sidewalls it's still going to be high enough to fit into there, but if you're using conveyor belt systems or something that hasn't got as high a reach, you can raise those up. So I've got my huge quantity I've got there. What I was going to do, and I've left that in the way. That's better. That should fit in here very neatly, if of course your driver is any good, which obviously today is not going to be one of those days. There we go. We'll start overloading. They pour it out of there, off there, onto there. Fill up your pallet and then start a new one if it needs to. Well, I did clout those. That's the smaller of the two. The larger of the two I think I've already got pre-filled, which brings me on to the last of the mods, which I wasn't expecting, because it did say this pack had 13 or 14 items, and this wasn't on the list of items. What also comes with this pack is the potato warehouse, which is this. It's a very cool looking building. So the potato warehouse here is 8 slots. It's a huge building. Got all these cooling systems for potatoes. Does it actually make any difference to the potatoes? It doesn't. It's not like they condition them or it does anything. It's not a washing plant or anything like that. But we do have the option here to turn the lights on and off. Exterior lights are automatic. They will come on when it gets dark. These ones here, if I press circle, turns the interior lights on. As you can see. Nicely animated fans running at the top. Keeps the air moving. Main door opens here, and this is where you can store your potatoes. But what's even cooler with this, which again I wasn't expecting, you've got these vent sections on the floor here. Keeps the air moving, which is all very nice. But we've got these sections over here. I'll open my help menu again. If I go over, the triggers are quite narrow, I found. Place right potato aeration tunnel. Do that. And it places all those metal sections like that. We go to this one here. We can do this centre one and then the left one. Now you don't have to have those out. They can be left to one side. So if you want to use this warehouse for anything at all, you absolutely can. It doesn't have to be potatoes. But the point being, or what's supposed to be happening is, when you pile your potatoes up, they pile over that, and the air can circulate underneath and come out through the potatoes and keep everything nice and dry, prevents mould, that kind of thing. That's brilliant. That is very, very cool. So Just looking down my list, I don't think I missed anything off. Pretty sure that's all of it. Cover off. Not that I need the cover off, but I suppose you should do when you're tipping. Now, will it let me run the wheels either side of this, or am I going to get caught up? I've got caught somewhere. Yeah, on the front section. Ah, maybe I have to run alongside it and tip them to the side. I was really hoping I'd better run up along the side of it and then just run next to it. But I suppose once you fill up, it's going to cover those anyway, isn't it? Again, worth a check. Unload here. I think it's actually filling up into it, isn't it? It's supposed to be going over those, not into it. That's a pity. But they are aeration tunnels. I really thought it wouldn't go through there, but I suppose they are quite big holes. But and then you just bring your stuff in, pile it up, ready for whatever you want to do, or just use it as a regular warehouse if you want to do that. Now, this you'll find, swap out, this you'll find under placeables and sheds, I think it was. There you go, potato warehouse, 8 slots, 195,000 to buy, warehouse for storing your produce. Here you can unload trailers or store, I mean, it doesn't have to be potatoes, you can put anything in there. It's designed specifically for potatoes. But like I say, if you move these aeration things out the way, it could just be vehicle storage, it can be anything you like. And that is it. I think that's all of it. You be the judge. It's entirely up to you. This DLC is £4.99, €4.99 I think it is. If you're a season pass holder, it's free. You get it anyway. Now, I found I installed it and it wasn't showing up. Every time I went into my mod tab, it wasn't there. It was showing everywhere that I'd installed it, but there is an update for the game today. I had to update my game. As soon as the game updated, the mod pack then became available for me to use. So it was saying it was installed, but until I did the update, it wasn't actually showing. So there we go. That's the Grimme pack. Third-party DLC from Giants. Team FSI modding Pepe 978. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.